Good morning, dear children. Today we are going to learn the second part of chapter 7, Control and Coordination. Okay, its second part is regarding reflex action. Reflex action. Do you know what is reflex action? Reflex action is an involuntary process without the knowledge of brain, spinal cord analyze the matter. In order to understand that, you should learn first a figure that shows reflex arc. Reflex arc means the elements that constitute the path for reflex action. Okay, what is reflex action? What are reflex arc? Okay, so we are going to learn that, and how does it takes place? We want to learn. For that, first of all, you look at this figure. See, this figure is the transverse section which shows the spinal cord. You know that where is the spinal cord? Is it or not? Where is the spinal cord? The spinal cord is, where is the spinal cord? The spinal cord is inside the vertebral column, that is in the backbone. Is it or not? And this spinal cord, you see that there are spinal nerves are originating from that. Spinal nerves are originating. This spinal nerve which goes to the hand is shown. And here in reflex action, there is an input and output section is there. See, here, have you seen that it is receptors, that is heat or pain. So touching on a hot pan, there is the temperature, we feel that it is burning sensation will be there. Why? Because of the receptors in the skin is a reason for that. Okay, so when you touch such a hot pan, then what happens? Immediately you can see that the sensory neuron carry the stimulus or the impulse to where the spinal cord. It is not sending to the brain, because compared to spinal cord, the brain is far and it takes or understanding time for it. So here the spinal cord immediately recognize, understand, analyze it and send the return the message through the motor neuron to the muscle. So here the muscle is the output and the skin in the hand is the input. You can see a path which starts from the skin in the hand to the spinal cord, and the spinal cord to back, you see that to the motor neuron to the muscle. So there is an arc that is not meeting each other. This is called reflex arc, and the process what happened, it is called reflex action. You can see that there is a relay neuron. The relay neuron is a connector neuron that connects sensory neuron and motor neuron. Here the analysis also takes place soon. Okay, this is reflex action in that without the knowledge of brain. Once it is because reflex actions are a defensing mechanism also, or a defense mechanism in the body. After that is, once it is analyzed, immediately you pull back. Suppose you are touching on a heat object, the hand will be pulled back soon because of the analysis by the spinal cord. Later the image, impulse will be, or message will be sent to the brain. Okay, because spinal cord is also part of central nervous system. You know that spinal cord is continuation of brain. Okay, so this figure you have to learn, and let's see that what is in your textbook. It is given. Reflex is a word we use very commonly when we talk about some sudden action in response to something in the environment. So what is reflex action? A sudden action in response to something in the environment. We say, I jumped out of the way of the bus reflexly, or I pulled my hand back from the flame reflexly, or I was so hungry my mouth started watering reflexly. Okay, what exactly do we mean? A common idea in all such examples is that we do something without thinking about it or without feeling in control of our reaction. Yet, these are situations where we are responding with some action to changes in our environment. How is control and coordination achieved in such a situation. As I told you that there is input output section is there. Let us consider, take one of our example, touching a flame is an urgent and dangerous situation for us, or in fact for any animal. How would we respond to this? One seemingly simple way is to think consciously about the pain and the possibility of getting burned, and therefore move our hand. An important question then is, how long will it take us to think all this? The answer depends on how we think. If now impulses are sent around the way we have talked about earlier, then thinking is also likely to involve the creation of such impulses. Okay, thinking is a complex activity, so it is bound to involve a complicated process. Okay, then so there is no surprise that the thinking tissue in our body consists of dense networks of intricately arranged neurons. It sits in the forward end of the skull. That means it is sent to the forward end of the skull and receives signals from all over the body, which it thinks about before responding to them. That is why we call that brain and spinal cord central nervous system. Obviously, in order to receive these signals, this thinking part of the brain in the skull must be connected to nerves coming from various parts of the body. So there is an intricate network of neurons are there. Similarly, if this part of the brain is to instruct muscles to move, nerves must carry this signal back to different parts of the body. That's why to the brain it is sensory neuron which carry these impulses from sense organs to the central nervous system, from central nervous system to the effector organ, that is the output, that is muscle or gland. If all of this is to be done, when we touch a hot object, it may take enough time for us to be burned. Okay, so the action of this, that means here we can see that the effect of, see if you think of that, if we take, suppose the message is sent to the brain, then it takes time for to identify, okay, or what is the matter to analyze, because brain is working in a complex form, and it is sent to the spinal cord. So immediately we get a response. As a result, immediately we pull back our hands from the situation what is around to defend our body from such a dangerous situation. Of course, reflex acts have evolved in animals because the thinking process of the brain is not fast enough. Okay? In fact, many animals have very little or none of the complex neuron network needed for thinking. So it is quite likely that reflex acts have evolved as efficient ways of functioning in the absence of true thought process. However, even after complex neuron networks have come into existence, reflex has continued to be more efficient for quick response because the spinal cord is able to give a better, faster, quicker result. Later this, whatever happened is informed to the brain. Okay, so reflex action, is it clear? So involuntary action without the knowledge of brain, spinal cord takes some decision and is a defensive mechanism. Hope it is clear. We will move to the next session. Okay, bye.